baby, gold. Yeah. Gold. It's gold is what it is. I just can't stay away from this place. Heading out to Way Out Salvage again. Looking to at least replace my fuse box and see if there's any other deals I can make happen. A gentleman out there just commented on the car and talked to me a little bit about it. It's great. Pretty much every time I stop, somebody wants to talk about the car. He's familiar with bugs and squarebacks and Carmen Gias, but just never had seen a notchback. So it's always fun talking to people about it.
I don't drive out this direction often enough that I've managed to get over it. This country is beautiful, and it makes an hour or so drive that much more enjoyable. A chance of rain was forecasted, and I got a few drops on the windshield early on. It's been just downright hot in northwest Arkansas lately, and while I did my fair share of sweating this day, there was cloud cover and even some breezes to keep it manageable. We're starting to get a little further out at this point, and for those of us who love to drive, here it is. We've got the curves, the thick, lush, and sometimes overhanging trees. Getting close to the Alabama turnoff, which I have yet to take.
For some people, there's a decision to be made here. For me, there's no decision at all. You just drive right on past the Kings River gas station, country store. Not everybody agrees with me. That's the way I feel about it. Let's see here. Yeah, here we are. Turn right to Kingston. Kingston Square. Time to make a decision about where to go from here, which I know where to go from here, but after I do that, then I'm not as sure. So I'm just gonna get my maps set up here and keep on heading in. So I'm kind of geeking out on this split window that he's got here. And you know, there's a lot I don't know about these buses, but this is pretty cool here. I kind of had an idea, but I just hadn't seen it in person myself. So you've got these two pieces here that you squeeze together. Got these notches here, and it'll just go to the next one, lock in. Super cool, man. I love it. Yeah, that's my water bottle I left there. So cool. There's a nice little splitty project just waiting for someone to pick it up. If I didn't have a wife or kids and had money, and yes, it would need to be, you know, all three of those things, I'd be all about it, man. Look at that. Yeah, it needs work, but man, there's also a lot still there.
I had only actually planned on being able to get the fuse box and maybe a couple of ancillary items.
All right, this is my prize. Oh, look at all this beautifulness. Oh, baby. So lovely. So lovely. I'm guessing that's a 6-volt generator because that is way smaller than mine. Yeah. Gold! It's gold is what it is. Oh my God. I am so excited. Gotta have one of those. Gotta have one of those. More sleds. Sleds are attached to the exhaust a lot of the time, which makes sense. Heater boxes, heater changes, whatever. Ooh, got the cap on it. Love it. It's the oil tube. That's early model. Fairly certain. That's an important piece right there. Couple late model hangers. Oh, here we go, here we go. Gold, baby, gold. This distributor. So, late model crankcase oil breather. Later model inspection plate cover. Gotta have that. Ah, here we go. It's a little bit chopped up. I'd prefer something in better condition. There's other places to look. There's even a fuel injection computer here. Here's a 3 and 4. Let's see if that's, I don't know if that's directional or not, but I do have it documented, so I can just look it up. All right, this is just the first honey hole. That might be the main honey hole. All right, got a couple fans. At least one of those is probably going to be perfectly good enough. We've got several fan housings, and probably at least one of those is going to be good. Part of the air cleaner, oil bath air cleaner, several pulleys, oil cleaners, 6-volt generator, heater tubes, the oil dipstick bit, the oil breather, crankcase breather, whatever. These little pieces of gold right here that mine is missing. Heat exchanger elbows. I don't even know what to call that. That's basically where your belt and your pulley live. Heat exchangers, lower tin or sled upper tins, at least one for each side. The partition at the back of the motor. So that's a lot of it right there. I'm just gonna see what other cars have in them and start picking out the best of the best. Hole number 2. I already like this a whole lot better than the other one. Question is if it's the right size for the 12-volt generator. That's where the generator fits through, different diameter. Got a sled, a couple of pulleys. This is fuel injection manifold here. I don't have any interest at all in that. I've already got that and don't want to use it. Fuel injection, I do believe. Another pulley, ooh, with another cap, and it looks like maybe the bolt's in there. More crankcase breather options. And, I like that elbow. I like that elbow. That is nice. Oh yeah, here's your fuel injection throttle body. I got one of those too. Don't need it. An option, I guess. Okay, more of these lovelies. This one has the one flap, but not the second flap. This one's got both flaps and this bit of this linkage here. So here you can even see that heat tube is still in place, and so right here's a hole in the tin, and here's this tab on the piece, and it just goes right up to there, and run a screw in from the top. That's how that lives. Another one of these, I'm not as big a fan of that. Here's this part with the pulley and the fan. Couple more oil coolers. Here's some more of these lovelies. Oh yeah. For your fuel injection setup, normally my fuel line just comes through here or whatever, but on your fuel injection setup, you've actually got your pressure regulator here on the back side of it. So it's hard to get to. What else would you do? Another fan. Pretty good looking. They already have fans up here now. Like that top dead center or whatever. Oh, look at that. That's kind of pretty right there. It's got all the stuff. Oh, I think that's a pair right there. And they look pretty nice too. Fucking beauties. Excuse my French. Alright. Fan housings. Ooh, that's pretty nice right there actually. I like that one quite a bit. Generator strap still on it and studs in and all that fun stuff. A little bit dirty, but that's an easy problem to fix. Might be for a 6-volt. That's in pretty frickin' decent condition right there. This might have been the one where I should have started. Pretty frickin' decent. Decent. Oh, here's these. Okay. So, another one of those beauties. Some more of this stuff. But these are something I hadn't found yet on the other ones. So these go basically right around. Yeah. Right around like that. Spark plugs go through there. Okay. That's another elusive little product right there. I'm gonna have to look that up again. Okay. All right, that's more in there, but I don't think any of it's important. All right, so several more options for that. And I found this right when I was starting to give up on finding more stuff. All these beauties. Any type 3 people are salivating right now, I just know it. So this is what I've whittled it down to. I'm not going to keep that generator, it's just something I used to make sure that my holes were big enough for the 12 volt. Couple different sled options, and a couple of these pieces I'm going to compare to things I've got up above there in my other pile, and pick the best of the best. All right, 6 volt clamp, 12 volt clamp. All right, we're getting close here. I've got my parts rounded up, a couple more last minute things to get figured out, and we'll be heading out pretty soon. And if we just come on over this way, oh, here's honey hole number 3, you know, in case I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find everything I wanted. Well, thought I'd just kind of get another peek at everything before I take off. Yeah, there's our oddball, type 412, just sitting in amongst the rest like all casual. Don't pay attention to me. We have another little look around. All right, driven back and loaded up my pile of beautiful parts. See if I can navigate my way back out of here. My rear deck lid is just totally open with a pile of parts sitting on it. Go up here and get a couple screws and things that I also need. He'll have in his shop. Make a transaction, get myself on home. This has been a pretty freaking awesome day, man. Get home, I'll show you all the parts all laid out. So cool. All right, another successful day. This time out at Way Out Salvage. Getting ready to pull myself on out of here with a, I don't want to say a car full of parts, but I got quite a few parts in here. This is really exciting. Derek cut me a great deal. Hung around and chatting about all kinds of stuff, not the least of which was his garden. Sending me home with some garlic. Just a super, super nice guy, man. And has all the fixins out here for good times, man. But all good things must come to an end. It's time to go home. Told my wife I was going to stop at the store on the way home, but I am pretty freaking rank. So we'll see if I do that or if I just have to run right back out after I get home. Anyway, well, I'm nearly home. Had a really, really great trip out there at Way Out Salvage. But I got like no time left today, and I'm going to Cars and Coffee in the morning. So I'm gonna have to enjoy my new toys at another time. All right, so now that I'm back home, what all did I get? Yeah, I got this very complete exhaust. The larger portion of the oil bath air cleaner, missing the other half of it. Cherry picked that sweetheart right there. Fan, 2 sets of sleds so that I can replace the ones that are on the engine currently. All the tin, even those elusive little guys there. The pulley, oil dipstick tube, more tins, firewall, whatever you want to call it there. 3 different really good oil cooler options. You can just see right through these guys. There's just a little bit of something there, but the fins are great. That one's not perfect, but it's pretty good on the other side. So 3 options there. A generator that looks pretty decent. The inspection plate covers for the sides and the nose, which I didn't have before. Picked up that flasher just in case I ever need it. And in case I decide to plug these and not hook that into the exhaust system. And, you know, some other fun stuff. Got several options for bellows clamps. Had to grab this Gia key that I found. Hooked me up with some choke screws and the nylon spacers. Couple of gaskets because I was talking about my leaking valve covers. And a valve cover, there it is, with the bump. So now I'll have 2 with the bump.
If you're shopping for parts or cars on the Samba and feel the same way I do about the prices you see, I can't suggest strongly enough that you come out and make a deal with Derek in person. Don't forget to bring your cash.
Well, this morning I went to Cars and Coffee with my son. Had a really good time looking at a bunch of cool cars. And came home, had some lunch, worked into the garden for a few hours. And now that the end of the day is almost here, it's time to play with one of my new toys. And so this is the primary reason I went out to Way Out Salvage, but I got so much more. However, this I'm very excited about, and if you watched my video about getting stranded in the middle of the street, this is going to solve the problem that I had that day. Now, cramming a wire in between 2 terminals has worked wonderfully. I've had no problems since doing that, but I just don't like that fix. So I'm gonna clean this thing up. It's not especially beautiful. However, I can tell that it is still in good shape and it hasn't been, you know, sort of messed up by being in the sun too much and stuff. So I'm just gonna try to give it some polishing and put it back into action. So you can see the difference here. Just rub a little quad-aught steel wool across these things. I'm not going to try to make every single bit of them look amazing. I just want to make sure we get real good contact between the terminals. So, a lot more to go. Like I said, not perfect, but definitely a whole lot better. So, we'll move forward with installation. Now, you know that I am all about safety all the time. I never do anything unless safety is considered. And so naturally, I have already disconnected the ground cable on the battery. And we're gonna get into this. So, this car should have a 10 fuse block. And that's what it's got in it, but it's got, you know, this aftermarket modern fuse style, blah, blah. And so I'm putting in a 12 fuse block, and There are some differences, obviously, because there's 2 more fuses, but a lot of it's the same. And going from left to right, it's the same for the first 7 spots. These 2 are bridged, these 2 are bridged, these 2 are bridged, here's a loaner. And it's the same way for the first 7 fuses on this block. So I can just move those over without even having to think about it. So that's what I'll do first. I almost kind of think this fuse box might be wired upside down. So if you notice, the top part of it is where my bridges are located, not on the bottom ones. And yet when I look at this guy, it seems like they're on the bottom, and that's where I had to jumper that wire. Such an awesome bush fix.
Correct. The wires don't want to be too short. And, oh yeah, that's a dome light. Let's do that instead. And 5 and 6 here, so.
I believe this is our primary feed right here. And I get to lose this thing. Oh, it's so awesome. And then once I've got this all together, I'm just going to do a sanity check before I actually go to connect the battery and start testing stuff. There we go. So after a sanity check, I decided to come out and just put in the primary feed fuse. And in my case, that allows me to use my dome light and not my clock, because my clock doesn't work. Once I verified, oh, and my horn worked. And so, yay, that was wired right. And then I looked down the line, I saw, okay, you know, here's my high beam left, turned on my high beams, went out to the front of the car, verified that the high beam on the left side came on, the right side didn't. Next fuse, high beam right, same scenario. And so I'm just working down methodically, making sure that everything's wired right. Pretty straightforward stuff.
So I've forgotten to check a few items off the list along the way. It's no surprise to me that I'd forget to go back to my new process. There, that's 4 items checked off the list, 2 of which happened during this video.
All right, so I didn't record this for a variety of reasons, but I did get my holes covered on each side, and I did originally have those covers, but they weren't as good as these that I got from Way Out Salvage. But what's even better is I've got the nose cover in place, which I did not have before, so that's very exciting. All right, there's basically one thing left to do, and that is to find out if I'm brave enough to drive this car that I just swapped out the fuse box. And it would appear the answer is yes. uneventful. Fuses seem to be doing their job. Of course, you know, I'm not really testing my headlights or anything like that right now, but I did earlier in the garage, and you know, overall the fuse box is in good condition, so I have no reason to believe that it won't operate well in every bay. So, couldn't be happier, man. Got the right, well, kind of the right fuse box, and one more thing that I don't have to worry about. Also, don't forget, if you're enjoying the content, like, subscribe, find a new and interesting way to tell the entire world about how great my videos are. You know, whatever. Thanks for watching.